You think you know me.
Alright, welcome to the show, episode 3, From Inside the Mind with the Original Champ. I am your Original Champ. We are talking about drafting, okay? We're on wide receivers. Now, let's talk about elite wide receivers. We don't pick wide receivers in the first round. We don't pick wide receivers in the second round. Those rounds are for quarterbacks. Those rounds are for running backs. However, there are a few key people that are better than your average quarterback and your average running back. Let's talk about Andre Johnson. He is a first-round wide receiver. He is a lot better than a lot of running backs. Every year, Schaub and Andre Johnson on the Texans do very well as far as fantasy efficiency. There's no reason not to trust him this year. He is ranked number 1. He's always going to be the first wide receiver picked. If you go and he's out there, he's a good pick. Larry Fitzgerald. I like Larry Fitzgerald this year. You know, I have a jersey. I wear it proudly. I'm a 49er fan, and I'm wearing the Cardinals jersey. All right? Larry Fitzgerald is ready to return to his fantasy status. The great status that he was back when the Cardinals were winning the Super Bowl. With the addition of Kevin Kolb out there, Larry Fitzgerald becomes a fantasy player all over again. Calvin Johnson of the Lions. You know, Matt Stafford is back, and he's not injured now. And he's a good quarterback. He's efficient. He's dynamic. He makes plays. Okay, Calvin Johnson is destined for a great year this year. You cannot go wrong. Roddy White, the Atlanta Falcons. You know, Roddy White's been a star every year since he's come up. Okay, there's no reason not to trust him this year. That offense is going to do a lot of damage. They're going to score a lot of points. I would not be surprised if they didn't score the most points in the NFC this year. The Atlanta Falcons, Roddy White. Reggie Wayne, old, reliable. However, Peyton Manning's coming off the neck injury. How is that going to affect Reggie Wayne? Well, it's going to affect him a lot, honestly. If Manning can't go, or if Manning feels pain, you know, his throws aren't going to be accurate. And you've seen Manning, he plays great. But you've seen Manning when he plays bad. And when he plays bad, he stinks. So, Reggie Wayne, elite receiver every year, may not be the best 5 this year. All right, Vincent Jackson. I like Vincent Jackson. Phil Rivers in San Diego lights up the board every year. 4,000 yards. Vincent Jackson, week 1. He's ready to go. He's the man. He's the number 1 receiver. He's still a downfield threat. Vincent Jackson will be a fantastic fantasy wide receiver. Deshaun Jackson from the Eagles. This kid is fast. He's real talented. And in leagues where returns also count for you, that makes the whole difference because he's a big-time return man. In my league, the defense gets the return stats, so the wide receivers don't, unless it's a touchdown. However, Deshaun Jackson, he's going to get a lot of plays. All right, the Eagles are going to be on the field a lot. They pass about 70% of the time, more than 70% of the time, which means Deshaun Jackson's going to get his handful of carries, touches, and touchdowns. All right, elite wide receivers. A wide receivers. Hakeem Nicks of the Giants. He came on pretty strong last year. He's the number 1 guy, and the offense will be productive. They have a good running game. They got a good passing game. He'll be productive. Hakeem Nicks. Miles Austin in Dallas. Tony Romo's back. I'm not a fan. Never will be. Don't pick him. However, Miles Austin should give you some fantasy numbers. Okay? Mike Wallace in Pittsburgh. The kid is quick. I like Mike Wallace. Big Ben likes to pass. Okay? That offense passes a lot more than it runs when Big Ben is in the picture. Mike Wallace is the downfield threat. Okay? He had 1,000 yards last year. I think he also had 6 or 8 touchdowns. I think he had 10 touchdowns. Mike Wallace is definitely a player you want to look at. Fresh, young, new, talented. Greg Jennings, old, reliable. Be there every week, every Sunday morning. Green Bay, Greg Jennings, you know, they're coming off the Super Bowl win. And Aaron Rodgers, you know, he's as great a quarterback as fantasy can give you. Okay? They don't have any issues. Doesn't look bad at all. No reason why Greg Jennings should be on anybody's roster. Anquan Bolden on the Ravens in Baltimore. He's low ranked, but I tell you what, he may surprise you this year. I think he's more valuable than they're giving him credit for. Anquan Bolden's a fantastic receiver, and in Arizona, you couldn't say enough until the quarterback went away. And then everybody became average. But in Baltimore, Flacco's going to hit Bolden. Okay, Mason's out. That's going to give catches back to Bolden. And the running game is there. The defense is there. You can't go wrong with Anquan Bolden. He's a fantastic receiver. Those are C-list receivers. Brandon Lloyd in San Diego. He's going to complement Vincent Jackson real nicely. Okay, Brandon Lloyd. Dwayne Bowe in Kansas City. The offense is going to run a lot. They're not going to be on the field that much. Okay, it's not like they're going to be putting together 13-play drives from the 20-yard line. Okay, all the way downfield. Bowe is their number one guy. He's talented. He's tall. He will give you fantasy points. Okay, Wes Welker in New England. I like New England's passing game this year. If Ocho Cinco doesn't get cut, I tell you, there are a lot of targets over there, which means that offense is going to be on the field a lot because the defense can't man up. And what that means is your best guys like Wes Welker, they're going to get a lot of catches, and they're going to do a lot with the run after the catch. Okay? Ocho Cinco in New England, same deal. He's not a downfield threat, but you know what? He cuts hard. He's tall. He's got great hands. You know, these guys are going to put up numbers. They're going to put up 80-yard games. They're going to have a touchdown. They're going to be good fantasy players. New England's going to carry the ball quite a bit this year. They most likely will win the AFC. All right, Santonio Holmes in New York. He's the guy. There's nobody out there complimenting him. The run game is pretty decent. The offense is okay. Sanchez is Sanchez, but you know, Santonio Holmes, he's coming from week 1. I think he had the suspension last year. He's a valuable kid, and he's gonna make plays out there. Santonio Holmes is definitely a nice receiver to have on your roster. All right, then leaves us with Austin Collie in Indianapolis. You got to give this kid respect. He's a hard player. He was explosive with the stats last year until the first concussion. And I say first. He came back with the second concussion, and he came back, and he got the third concussion, and he finally stayed out for the rest of the year. But let me tell you, when he was playing, he was the number 1 receiver. We play in ESPN. Okay, he was ranked number 1. Peyton likes this guy, and if he can stay healthy, and if he can take a hit this year coming up, he's going to have good numbers. But he's a risk, okay? He's a half a season guy right now. And that basically is all the receivers out there. There are more receivers than there are running backs. Okay, there are more receivers than there are quarterbacks. Okay, don't waste your pick in the first round grabbing 2 receivers. Andre Johnson, yes. Those other guys, maybe late in the first round when all the running backs are gone. Okay, if you have a good keeper from last league, if you have a dynasty league where you're comfortable with your running back and quarterback position, jump on some of these guys early. But don't go for these guys before you go for running back and quarterbacks. Make sure you're sound there. That's what's going to win your games. These guys will just complement the score. Those are your receivers, and that's how to draft.